This episode of TechnoBuffalo is brought to you by Domain.com. The Sony Xperia Z5 Premium is the very first 4K smartphone in the world, but saying the Z5 Premium is a 4K smartphone is kind of like buying a universal remote that supports all kinds of devices and using it just for your TV. You could totally do it, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to. Here, let me show you what 4K video looks like on the Sony Xperia Z5 Premium. Okay, that's it. You've seen it all. You've seen all the 4K video that you can watch, because the only way that you can watch 4K video on the Z5 Premium is to either watch the preloaded video or watch the 4K content that you shoot with the camera. Everything else on the device is rendered at 1080. So yeah, there's a 4K display on the front, but that's about all it is. Sure, it's representative of where we're going and where the future is going and what we can do now, but in practice, it really just falls flat. Now, that's not to say that the Z5 is crappy or useless or not a great phone. The Z5 on its own without the premium tag is actually a very good phone. It's a little more expensive than I'd like, but it is Sony's flagship line. So at a price of £629, I really am expecting a lot. It's got a Snapdragon 810 under the hood, some decent camera optics, front and back, 3 gigs of RAM, and a really nice bright display. In my 7 days using the device, I didn't feel particularly overwhelmed by the quality of the 23 megapixel camera on the back. The app was really messy. There were way too many modes. You have to switch to turn on 4K video. It wasn't a great experience overall, and the quality of the photos that it took were fine. Subjects were pretty sharp, but lower light photos were a little noisier than I would have liked, and colors were very, very washed out. I will say though, that 2-stage shutter button on the side, whoo-wee, I wish more manufacturers would put that button on those devices. I love having that thing there, and I used it a lot. The build quality also feels kind of weird. I don't know what it is about this phone. Like on paper, it seems like it should feel awesome. The glass, the plastic, the combination of the two, it just doesn't really gel. The outer edge feels too cheap compared to the glass, and the glass is too fingerprinty compared to everything else, and it just feels like a kludgy mess. It's a little bit thicker too, because that fingerprint scanner is on the right side, which I think is a great place for it. But that added bulk, while I don't think we need thinner smartphones, this added bulk really does make the whole thing feel like a bit of a blocky, sad device. I really like the placement of the fingerprint reader on the side, but it did not perform very well in my experience. Even just a little bit of sweat is enough to get it to ask you to try again and again and again. Granted, Brandon did not have the same experience with his review, so you can check that out over on the site. I do want to give Sony props though. This is the first OEM skin since since way back in the day that I actually really like. Things here are actually material, and it does seem like Sony actually went to the extra effort to make sure that things feel at home on Android, except for this glorious Fantasia background that you can have as a live wallpaper. The Z5 Premium also does have the water-resistant rating that the Z5 has, so you absolutely can stick this thing in up to 1.5 meters of water for up to 30 minutes, so that is definitely something to consider. That's not something that you get with the 6P, it's not something you get with Samsung's devices, so if you're looking for something in the $500-600 price range that is water-resistant, then this might be the phone for you. If you're a diehard for Sony's Xperia line, then look, picking up a Z5 makes perfect sense. You know what you're getting into. Picking up a Z5 Premium, on the other hand, makes no sense at all whatsoever. Unless you're interested in seeing what 4K looks like on one particular video, then you're not going to find a lot here for you, since everything in the UI from top to bottom is rendered in 1080. Yes, that does get you a crazy high pixel density of 801 ppi, but are your eyes really that good? At that point, it's really well beyond diminishing returns and well into stupid territory. Our eyes can only see so many pixels per inch, so going all the way up to 801 definitely does seem like overkill. Look, I'm not one to balk at progress, but progress for the sake of progress is a different thing entirely in my book. It's a little bit wasteful. Look, there's not a lot to do with a 4K display on a smartphone just yet. We just can't handle outputting in 4K all the time. So while I appreciate that it's possible now, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And in the case of the Z5 Premium, you shouldn't. As I was doing this review, I was thinking domain, so I was thinking domain.com, and I went and made sure that whatis4k.video was indeed available for you guys to pick up. So you can head over to domain.com, use the code TechnoBuffalo, and get yourself 20% off of the domain whatis4k.video, which we apparently need because there isn't a whole lot of 4K video to watch on the Z5 Premium. Anyway, that was a sweet domain that you guys can register, and remember, when you're thinking domains, think domain.com.